The world of elegance, secrets, and timeless drama is about to return. A story that captured hearts across generations is stepping back into the spotlight. Downton Abbey is not just a series, it is a world of love, loyalty, betrayal, and change. And now, after years of waiting, the next chapter is ready to begin. The news every fan has been waiting for is finally here. Downton Abbey Season 3 will premiere on Friday, September 12th, 2025. The grand halls of the Abbey are preparing once again to open their doors, and with them comes the return of the unforgettable Crawley family and the loyal staff who serve them. For over a decade, Downton Abbey has been more than a period drama. It has been a living portrait of a changing world, a glimpse into the struggles of tradition and the unstoppable march of progress. And now, after years of whispers and endless anticipation, the beloved series is back to remind us why it holds such a special place in our hearts. Imagine the familiar opening theme swelling once again, filling the screen with nostalgia and excitement. The vast estate bathed in golden light, the gentle sound of footsteps in quiet corridors, the clinking of silver cutlery during grand dinners. These are not just images of a show, they are pieces of memory, carefully stitched into the hearts of millions. Season 3 is set to bring us back to that place where every look, every word, every silence carries weight, and where lives can change in an instant. What makes this announcement even more powerful is not just the date itself, but the meaning behind it. September 12, 2025 will mark a moment when old fans and new audiences will unite once more. For those who grew up following Lady Mary's sharp wit, Carson's stern dedication, or Violet's cutting remarks, this is a homecoming for those discovering Downton Abbey for the first time. It is the beginning of an unforgettable journey. Season 3 promises to stand as both a continuation and a fresh chapter, weaving old storylines with new intrigue, ensuring that everyone finds a place within the Abbey's walls. But why does Downton Abbey still matter today? Because at its core, it speaks about the universal struggles of life, the weight of duty, the pull of love, the pain of loss, and the hope of change. It tells us about a time when the world was shifting, when old traditions clashed with new ideas, when the upstairs and downstairs lives were bound together by invisible threads of loyalty and ambition. And though the costumes may belong to the early 20th century, the emotions feel timeless. This is why millions will mark their calendars, waiting eagerly for that September day. So let this moment sink in. Picture the long dining table, polished and prepared. Picture the Abbey's walls holding centuries of secrets, ready to reveal more. Picture the characters you've missed stepping back into your lives as if they had never left. That is the power of this announcement. And that is why the premiere of Downton Abbey Season 3 is not just television, it is an event. The countdown begins now. The Abbey stood tall, but inside its walls, emotions were far from steady. Season 2 left us with stories both resolved and unresolved, with doors closing only for others to open. When the credits last rolled, it wasn't simply the end of a season, it was a pause in a tale that had much more to say. To truly feel the weight of Season 3's return, we must look back at where we left the Crawleys, their staff, and the world they were bound to. At the heart of it all was the Crawley family, still struggling to balance their duty with their desires. Lady Mary, sharp and elegant as always, was caught in a battle between her heart and the expectations that came with her title. Her choices carried consequences not just for herself, but for the family name. Romance hovered in her story, but so did the shadows of doubt and duty. Every look she gave, every decision she made, seemed to set the course for the Abbey's future. Viewers were left wondering, would she choose love, or would tradition keep her bound to the world she was born into? Then there was Lord Grantham, the pillar of the estate, trying to hold everything together while the world outside grew louder with change. His love for Downton and his family was unwavering, yet he too faced dilemmas that tested his values. The clash between old traditions and new ideas had never been stronger, and even a man of honor like him could not escape the weight of these changes. Watching him balance the fragile ties between loyalty to his family and the pressing tide of a new era was a reminder that no leader, no matter how noble, can stand unchanged in the face of time, but the magic of Downton Abbey has always been the way it gives voice to those who live below the grand staircase. The staff, each with their own ambitions, secrets, and struggles, carried as much importance as the family they served. Carson, stern yet deeply loyal, continued to guard the Abbey's dignity, while Mrs. Hughes, with her quiet strength, was the heart that kept the household together. Their dedication was more than service, it was love for the Abbey, even when it demanded sacrifices that cut deep. And then there were stories filled with pain, hope, and unanswered questions. The lives of Anna and Bates reminded us that love often walks hand in hand with hardship. Their struggles and their devotion became one of the most moving threads of the series, and as season 2 closed, their fate remained uncertain. Every fan carried their story in their hearts, eager to see if justice and happiness would finally find them. Around them, the world itself was shifting. Wars had left scars, both seen and unseen. The old way of life was crumbling, and new possibilities were rising from the ruins. The Abbey, once untouchable, now stood as a symbol of survival in uncertain times. Each character upstairs and downstairs had to face choices that could change not only their own lives but the very future of Downton itself. The brilliance of Season 2 was that it never gave us simple answers. Instead, it layered conflicts and emotions like brushstrokes on a canvas, leaving us with a masterpiece unfinished. Every glance carried weight. Every silence spoke louder than words. And when the season ended, it felt less like a conclusion, and more like a question left hanging in the air. That is where we left them. A family, a household, a world on the edge of transformation. Season 3 now arrives not to start something new, but to continue the heartbeat of a story already in motion. Fans will return not as strangers, but as companions picking up a conversation that was left mid-sentence. The Crawleys are waiting. The staff are waiting. The Abbey itself is waiting. And now, with September 12, 2025, marked as the day of return, all those questions from the past rise again. What choices will be made? What loves will be lost or found? What secrets will finally be revealed? The curtain is about to lift, and the story that paused with such tension is ready to breathe once more. The doors of the Abbey are opening once more, but this time the air feels heavier, charged with whispers of change. Season 3 does not promise peace, it promises storms, and with storms come choices that cannot be undone. The Crawleys and their devoted staff are about to face a future more uncertain than ever before. The grandeur of the house still stands, but beneath its polished surface lie questions of loyalty, ambition, and the cost of holding on to tradition when the world outside refuses to stop moving forward. This new season will not simply revisit the lives of familiar faces, it will test them. Relationships that seemed unshakable may be pushed to breaking point. Secrets carefully hidden in the shadows could come to light. The Crawleys, once united by name and legacy, may find themselves divided by the very choices that define them. The question that lingers, will love or duty win the battle this time? Lady Mary, whose presence has always carried both elegance and fire, finds herself standing at a crossroads. Season 3 will not only explore her heart but her strength as a woman caught between expectation and desire. The walls of Downton have always echoed with her decisions, but now, every choice she makes could change the fate of those around her. Will she finally embrace happiness, or will sacrifice once again be demanded of her? Lord Grantham, steady and proud, will also face trials that strike at the very core of who he is. The world outside the Abbey no longer bows to old traditions, and the weight of leadership grows heavier. For a man bound by honor, compromise may come at a painful cost. His story this season is not just about protecting Downton, it is about protecting his family from forces even he cannot control. And what of those who serve downstairs? Their world may be hidden beneath the grandeur, but their struggles are no less powerful. Carson, Mrs. Hughes, Anna, Bates each will confront choices that test the strength of their loyalty and the depth of their dreams. Ambition may rise, love may falter, and the fragile balance that has kept the household together may begin to crack. For them, Season 3 is not merely about service, it is about survival. Yet beyond the individual stories lies something greater, the Abbey itself. More than just a house of stone, it has always been a character in its own right. Season 3 will show us whether Downton can withstand the changing winds of history. The estate is not immune to time, and as the modern world continues its relentless march, the future of the Abbey hangs in delicate balance. Will it remain a symbol of tradition, or will it be forced to evolve, shedding pieces of itself in order to endure? The themes of this new season reach deeper than ever before. Love and betrayal, duty and rebellion, silence and revelation. They will all collide in ways both heartbreaking and beautiful. Every viewer will be pulled into a story that refuses to give easy answers. Instead, Season 3 will leave us questioning, aching, and yet unable to turn away. There are whispers, too, of new faces arriving, characters whose presence may shift the ground beneath the Crawleys and their staff. Some will come with charm, others with ambition, and still others with secrets that could unravel the fragile threads holding the Abbey together. Each new arrival is a reminder that the world of Downton is alive, unpredictable, and ready to surprise us once again. But make no mistake, this season is not about comfort. It is about challenge. It is about what happens when people are forced to confront truths they would rather ignore. It is about the breaking of silence, the testing of love, and the inevitability of change. For every moment of joy, there will be heartbreak. For every promise, there will be betrayal. And for every secret kept, there will be a reckoning. Season 3 is not here to simply continue the story. It is here to raise the stakes higher than ever before. The Crawleys are standing on a precipice, and with them stands everyone who calls Downton Abbey home. One wrong step, and the world they have built could shatter. One right step, and a new era could begin. On September 12, 2025, we will step back into that world. But this time, nothing is guaranteed. Asterisk, the story is set, the characters are waiting, and the stage is ready. All that remains now is time the countdown to the return of one of the most beloved dramas in modern history. Downton Abbey Season 3 is no longer a distant dream. It has a date, a promise, and a heartbeat. Friday, September 12, 2025 will not be just another day on the calendar. It will be the day the Abbey rises again, carrying with it the weight of legacy and the thrill of discovery. For fans who have followed every step of this journey, this moment is more than an announcement, it is a reunion. The faces you have missed, the voices you have remembered, the stories that still linger in your mind, they are all about to return. For years we have carried these characters in memory, wondering where their lives would lead, imagining what might come next. And now, those questions will finally find their answers. The Abbey's halls will echo once more with footsteps, secrets, and the quiet power of human emotion. But this is not only for those who already know Downton. Season 3 invites newcomers. To those who have yet to walk through its corridors, who have not yet sat at its dining table, who have never looked upon its grand staircase with awe. For them, this premiere is an open door into a world that blends history with humanity, tradition with transformation. The beauty of Downton Abbey has always been its ability to speak across time, to show us that even in another century people wrestled with the same desires, fears, and hopes we know today. The call is simple but powerful. Mark your calendars, clear your evenings, and prepare your hearts. On September 12, 2025, a story returns that is more than entertainment. It is a shared experience, a tapestry of lives woven together in ways that continue to move us. This is the kind of drama that does not simply sit on the screen. It lingers in conversations, in thoughts, in the quiet spaces of our own reflections. It asks us to think about love and loss, duty and desire, the ties that bind families and the changes that threaten to pull them apart. So let this not be just another date. Let it be a reminder of why we gather around stories, why we follow characters through joy and heartbreak, why we find pieces of ourselves in worlds far removed from our own. Downton Abbey Season 3 is not just a return, it is a continuation of something that has always belonged to us. Picture the night of the premiere, the screen glowing, the music rising, the opening shots pulling us back into the Abbey's embrace. Old fans will feel the rush of nostalgia, new fans will feel the thrill of discovery, and together we will step once more into a place where history and humanity meet. It will not simply be watched, it will be felt. So now, as the anticipation builds, remember these words: Friday, September 12, 2025, a date to circle, a date to share, a date to hold close. Downton returns, and with it comes the chance to relive, to rediscover, and to be moved all over again. The story is waiting, the Abbey is calling. And the question that lingers for every viewer is this: when the doors open once more, will you be ready?